Well, good day everybody, and welcome to my channel Whiskey Journey. Today I've got another rum review for you guys, and yes, I'm going to be reviewing the latest Foursquare. Very fortunate to have got a bottle. Kudos to Aberdeen Whiskey Shop, one of my locals, that set aside a bottle for me. I feel very privileged I've been able to taste this and give you my thoughts, and big congrats if you managed to get a bottle as well. I know that this is going to be sold out pretty much everywhere in the UK. Okay, right, so yep, latest Foursquare. This is called the Magisterium, I think that's how you pronounce it. It is a 16-year-old, and as you can see by the color, very dark, beautiful looking color. Cask type is ex-bourbon and ex-sherry. I'll go into a little bit more detail with that. As I said, 16 years, pot 4 column blend, released in March 2024. But only now sort of filtering down into the UK. All right. I'm a big fan of Foursquare that has some sherry cask maturation. One of my favorite releases, haven't actually reviewed it yet, but it is the Elysium from the Whiskey Exchange. I just love a bit of sherry influence with Foursquare. All right. Okay, so on to the actual rum itself. So I've made some notes because I'm terrible at remembering these sorts of things. So it is a blend of 3 16-year-old blended rums. The first rum spent 3 years in ex-bourbon casks and 13 years in ex-Oloroso casks. The second blended 9 years in ex-bourbon cask and 7 years ex-Oloroso. And the third 100% bourbon cask maturation. And obviously that was all blended together, and we get this stunning looking juice right here. Okay, so that's just a bit of information on this particular bottle. So I'm very interested to see what sort of notes we get on this one, and it'll be interesting to see also how much oak there will be, with it being 16 years maturation in the tropics pretty much. I do find sometimes Foursquare can be a little bit oak forward, so it'll be interesting to see what we get on this one. All right, okay, so enough of my rambling, guys. Let's just get straight into the tasting notes and see what we get with this new release. Okay. So on the nose. Very rich, very indulgent, and very much Foursquare. Very rich nose. And interestingly enough, the first notes I get are sort of classic Foursquare notes that I associate with bourbon cask maturation. So lots and lots of coconut and also vanilla. Dates. And then the fruitier side comes out, most definitely. So lots of darker type fruits. So I'm thinking cherries, yeah, big cherry note, grapes, not white grapes, but red grapes, red fruit character, strawberries, blackberry jam, and that sort of beautifully sweet sherry notes, raisins, dried fruits, definitely. So definitely, you can definitely smell the influence from those Oloroso sherry casks, most definitely. But it all smells beautifully balanced. A bit of musty oak as well, almost bordering on Dunwich Warehouse in my opinion. I've been to Glendronach before. Glendronach's not far from where I live, about 40 odd miles, and when you go into the warehouse you can smell that Dunwich Warehouse. I mean, obviously this is nowhere near the strength of that smell, but I definitely get it. Kind of like a musty sherry oak. Yeah, earthiness, a bit of earthiness there, definitely. Some floral nature too. It's simply just a beautiful nose, a highly promising nose. Classic Foursquare, but with that sherry goodness as well. Definitely adds a little character to the dram in my opinion. Okay, so let's just taste it then at its full strength. I will be trying a bit of water, but let's just try it at its natural strength first. Some baking spices, spiciness from the barrel there, definitely, but beautiful sweetness in the end. Playing along with that vanilla, there's little bit of bitter oak, a bit of oak char, a bit of bitterness, but balanced so well with the sweetness just in the finish. Drying, induces salivation, juicy. That's just lovely. So on the palate initially, you get all those darker fruits up front, in my opinion. Strawberry, blackberry, it comes across as jammy, definitely jammy. Grapes, definitely. And then sort of mid-palate, you get more of that vanilla, a bit of coconut. Definitely vanilla. You can taste the bourbon cask influence. And then some of the sherry notes that start to play. Dried fruits, definitely. Raisins. And then you get some cinnamon spice, nutmeg, baking spices. And all mixes really, really well. And then you get a bit of wood as well. But interestingly enough for me, not heavy wood like I get off some Foursquare. This is quite mild, I would suggest, and very, very well integrated. Sure, you get a bit of that bitterness that you can get from oak, but it's mingles so well with that sherry sweetness. The two just mingle so well together. And then in the finish, a little bit astringent, a bit drying, but you're left with all that beautiful sweet sherry notes. There's hints of leather definitely in the finish, but it's all just beautifully mingles together so well. I'm very, very, very impressed with this. And as I say, this is just from the neck pour pretty much. I expect this to get even better over time, and it's incredible at the moment. So I have added a bit of water, so I'm just going to see what we get now with a few drops of water. Apologies, this is going to be a slightly longer review, but it's a special release, so I want to take my time with it. So on the nose, okay, so interestingly enough, more vanilla. The coconut has been pushed, I think, a wee bit, and you're still getting beautiful. I mean, the bourbon cask influence definitely notes of vanilla, but you're still getting all the beautiful fruit. Strawberries, cherries, grapes. The mustiness that I get, which I can only assume is from the sherry cask, is still there. And earthiness, but it has been pushed slightly, so immediately I'm thinking I prefer this at the natural strength, 58% in my opinion. I mean, when I tasted that, there's not much burn or anything like that. It's very approachable at its 58% ABV natural strength. So I wouldn't play around too much with water if you get this one, guys. Just drink it at its natural strength, in my opinion, but it's always good in the interest of science to give it a try. Right, let's just have a wee taste. The nose, I wasn't as impressed at its natural strength, but with a bit of water, that tastes just as good. The mouthfeel feels softer, obviously a little bit reduced ABV, but soft, supple, velvety, smooth, very smooth, creamy, greeted again with all those beautiful darker fruits. I'm not going to repeat myself, but mid-palate build-up of spices and a bit of spice, cinnamon, baking spices, but not as harsh or not as strong as it is at its natural strength, and definitely more spiciness at its natural strength. As I said before, maybe does, well, not what I've said before, but there is bitterness, a little bit of bitterness. There is balance with the sweetness, but I think there is better balance at its natural strength, in my opinion. So for me, it's just getting just a tad more bitter, slightly more bitter, but still balanced really well with the sweet notes. But I think at 58% of natural strength, I don't think you can go wrong at all. It's perfect at that strength, in my opinion. Okay. All right, so what do I think after having a small tasting? Well, it's absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful dram. And I'm so glad I picked it up. I think that this rivals the Elysium and possibly beats it. Big notes for me. The influence of the oak is not that strong. I mean, it's there, but it, to me, does not overshadow anything. If I could describe this in one word, it would be balanced. Really, really well balanced between the oak, those bourbon notes, and the sweet sherry notes. They all play really, a perfect part, in my opinion. They all play their own part in making this a delicious, beautiful dram. Probably more suited to winter time when it's cold and you want to warm yourself up. It's rich, it's indulgent, but the integration, in my opinion, is absolutely spot on. And I love the nose on this one as well. That sort of deep mustiness of the sherry casks definitely comes into play on the nose, which I love. And that's one of the characters that always entices me with this kind of release, especially when there's sherry in the mix. But overall, guys, what a fantastic release. And if you can get a bottle at retail, then just get it, in my opinion. If you like sherry cask driven, if you like influence of sherry cask maturation with your Foursquare, you will love this release. As I said, I think this is better than the Elysium, and that's just first taste, in my opinion. Okay, guys, I hope that you've stuck with me. I hope you enjoyed my review and my thoughts. If you do enjoy my content, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It is always appreciated from me. But as usual, not much else to say, except have a great and fantastic day. I'll see all of you again soon. Take care. Cheers.